Hey y'all, it's your girl Asha Dawson, founder and lead planner for Event Productions by Jen here in Atlanta, Georgia, and we are back today to talk about timelines. So, when we talk about timelines, we're talking about the day of timeline, the day of the actual event, how every hour and sometimes a lot of the minutes are going to be scheduled, planned, handled, and accounted for by all of your vendors. Remember, weddings are the biggest group project, okay? So weddings involve vendors who oftentimes have never worked together before, and they are still getting to know you, the client, and you're still getting to know them. So it's really, really important to have things written down in detail so that things don't get missed, okay? So we're gonna talk today about how to have a stress-free wedding day with a timeline that will work. So first, I want to point you to a resource. And this is a resource that I use. So this is really something that I feel like I have experience to talk about. It's called Timeline Genius. I'm going to say it again. Timeline Genius. Timeline Genius is an amazing tool. Oftentimes wedding planners will pay for a subscription of it. But I'm telling you that unless you have a wedding planner or a venue manager, whoever might be a coordinator, using this software, you are going to have a gap, okay? You're gonna have a gap. Yes, people can come up with a Word document. There are plenty of other softwares and things to use. However, what I want you to know is that if it's on you to actually use a resource to write down a timeline for the day, which sometimes brides have to do, I would not wing it. ChatGPT will not give you the level of detail that you really need for that day. So think about getting Timeline Genius. Here's what it does. It basically is 50% AI and it's 50% you. So it's a plug and chug model. They will ask you a series of questions like your venue name, the different vendor names and their contact information, all these things, what type of wedding you want. It will ask you for those big ideas, and then it'll generate a sample timeline. You can also do it manually, but I really like using the partnered option with AI because it gives you a place to start, okay? So oftentimes we have a hard time when you're the first one, or not the first one, but when you're getting married for the first time, okay? No one's ever done this before, right? You're the bride, you're just here, you're maybe good at planning projects, planning vacations, whatever it is, but you really haven't thought about how long does a photographer need to capture first look photos? What is the typical length for a ceremony, right? Those things are already built into the system so that you can go and adjust from there. But if you are just looking for what is common, it's gonna have some of that in there for you already. So I want you to consider Timeline Genius as a tool to start the planning with your vendors. So what does that mean? When you go to your final walkthrough, 30 days in advance of your actual event, you will have a meeting with the major vendors. Usually it will be catering, it will be the venue staff. If you have a wedding planner, she'll be there. Sometimes you'll see a DJ or a decor artist if you've chosen to hire one. But those central people will be at that meeting and they will be wondering about a lot. They will ask you questions about a lot. They are also going to be there to support you as well. So show up to that meeting with a sample timeline for your day. It will make things go very smooth. It'll be an organic conversation starter. You will have this timeline in front of you that you have created based off of all of the times you've discussed with your vendors ahead of time, based off of what makes the most sense for you and your family. And you will be able to say, okay, photographer, I have you down at this time. Catering, how much more time do you need here? Is this a reasonable transition time, right? This will give them something to work with. And then once you've done that, you can go home and you can edit it and make it even more fine-tuned. And then really, vendors don't even need to know what's going on until about a week before the wedding, okay? You can finalize those details, send it out one time. But that is how you create an effective timeline. Once again, every timeline is different, and it's going to depend on the vendors that you have. So you want to make sure that you are including every single vendor. Another thing I love about Timeline Genius is that you have the ability to add in all the vendor names and contacts. So everything is centralized into one place. So whoever is coordinating your day, and it shouldn't be you, can look at this and be able to have a reasonable way to communicate with people if there are any questions or discrepancies. So to recap, download Timeline Genius. Start plugging and chugging using the AI feature, all of your vendors and all of the elements of your day that you want included. Bring that timeline with you to your final walkthrough with your venue. And make sure that the core people, we've talked about this before in the Big 3 video, you want to think about your catering team, okay? You want to think about the venue team, and if you have a wedding planning team, you want to bring that there, okay? You want to have it for them to be able to discuss at that meeting. And then lastly, you're going to want to go and edit that based off of what you hear at that final walkthrough, any questions that may come up, right? Or any changes that need to be made. And then you will have a timeline, and it will be so much easier than rushing at the last minute on a Word document, trying to put down, oh, I think at this time, everyone should get here this time. I think so. It will be broken down, and you can breathe easy knowing that whoever has that timeline knows exactly what you want for that day. Stay tuned. I'll see you next time.